So yeah, right now you're doing stuff with Lauri Love too, and the Courage Foundation.
Yes, good of you to ask. Um, I've been I've been a part of the efforts to help Lauri Love for well almost 16 months now, but only in a really active part of it through hashtag or no at tag free Lauri Love since May or something like that. Um, and we're a crew that works alongside and with the Courage Foundation on that.
Okay, you wanna you maybe people some people might not know. You wanna tell people a little bit about who Lauri Love is and his situation and what's going on right now with the extradition and all that.
Sure. Well, Lauri Love was one of many that got really upset when Aaron Swartz took his own life after being harassed by the U.S. Well, what do you call it? U.S. court system. Is that the right word?
Yeah, criminal justice system.
Yeah,
Well,
the criminal justice system. Lauri Love was allegedly mad at the U.S. after that, and last resort, as it was called, had a lot of supporters. The U.S. is contending that, or three jurisdictions, including New Jersey and New York, I think, are contending that he attacked really sensitive installations in the US. He basically was alleged to have hacked the shit out of very central, I don't know, defense installations in the US.
yeah, I think it was some kind of yeah, it was some kind of military. I don't know exactly where, but it was something that had to do with defense or military or something.
Yeah. Anyway, what happened was Laurie got raided and I don't know, charged. Then an extradition request came from the U.S. To extradite him to the U.S. And for the last year or so, we've been going through the courts in the U.K., where just a couple of weeks back or 3 weeks back, the courts decided that Lauri Love could be extradited to the U.S. The case is now in the hands of the Home Secretary of the UK. When he signs, Lauri Love has 14 days to appeal that decision, or else he will be sent to the US, possibly facing 99 years in prison. This is not something anybody would like to see. So a lot of people are working hard to make sure that doesn't happen. Would you like me to tell you about the last couple of weeks' activities by activists and Courage Foundation?
Yeah, and also about the MP's letter. But I just got to say, 99 years. That's 100 years. I mean, murderers here do like 15 to 25. They really want to set an example of, they want to scare people. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I do agree. I have trouble finding out or understanding why they would, go after Laura Love like this for what he allegedly did. And all the words I could come up with are vindictiveness, pettiness, and as you said, making an example. But I don't think anybody's court system, especially when you're going international and demanding an extradition, you should use that to make an example. Uh, we're talking about people here, and for God's sake, they left the barn doors open, and allegedly Lauri Love just walked in there. Think about the if the Russians had walked in there in potentially
Yeah.
systems that guard the atomic security of the U.S. or whatever you call it in real English. It's sick.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, anyway, I just heard from the newspaper. Just give me a couple of seconds. I'll get back to the MP letters thing.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I got it. It was a short message. Last week or so, Free Lauri Love, which is the Twitter tag that quite a few of us use to run the Free Lauri hashtag. We got asked by the Courage Foundation to help them, uh, make several MPs sign a letter addressed to President Obama asking him to stop or to remove the extradition request for Lauri Love. Lauri Love had already visited the Parliament and gotten a couple of MPs. I think it was nine actually, to sign a letter saying that please don't extradite Lauri Love, uh, and the reasoning being that he actually is autistic, um, among other things. Anyway, I then asked Courage Foundation if we should target all the 640 MPs on Twitter. Because we happen to have all of the members of Parliament's Twitter handles.
Yeah.
They said yes, and within 48 hours or so, we got quite a bit of traction on it, a couple of million social media impressions, and 113 MPs in total. That is one in six MP actually signed the letter, which is unheard of. Having
Yeah.
one Parliament actually supporting a hacker is one thing. Having 113 do it, it's got to be some kind of social media activist record or something.
Yeah. I mean, he's a brilliant guy, and I know he's said this is making him suicidal. Have you heard anything about how he's doing personally and his family in the last few weeks?
Well, I would hate to, share anything personal,
Yeah.
but I can tell you that since the judge, she's called Judge Tempia, decided that there was nothing standing in the way of his extradition, his stress level has gone through the roof. And what is public knowledge is his medical conditions, his autism or a variant of autism, and a horrible eczema, if that's the right English word.
Yeah. Eczema. Yeah. It's a skin condition. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a skin condition that also, when you're stressed, it gets worse.
Yeah. I know some people with it, and it definitely, whenever they get stressed out, it does get worse.
Yeah. And the last thing I want to say about his personal situation is that uh, a few of us have agreed that we should not put any pressure on Laurie in the coming few weeks, and let him concentrate on his personal life. Uh, that might tell you what needs to be said.
Yeah. No, I was just asking because I mean, I follow him on Twitter. I've talked to him, um, not in a DM, but just publicly a couple times, and he seems like such a great guy. I mean, it's just his Twitter's always filled with like some kind of happy stuff or going ons, and I know he's got to be under tremendous stress. I can't imagine what he's feeling right now. That's a horrifying situation for anybody. Anybody, doesn't matter who. So just on the
Well,
human level, I wanted to, I'm hoping he's okay and he's gonna get through this, and I hope they don't extradite him.
well, he's never going to be okay. In general, nobody can be okay when the full force of the U.S. government is landing on their heads, and in addition, their own, I'm sorry, fucking government
Yeah,
is supporting that action. But as you say, he lives up to his last name, uh, Love, and
definitely.
he's extremely positive. And I've been very fortunate to meet him, and he's just as brilliant as you can see by his tweets. Maybe even more so.
Yeah, I can imagine. So how does Intel Group tie into this? I mean, what have they been able to do to help with this situation with Lori?
Well, that's really simple. What you need to do is get information out there, and uh, Intel Group is one of the most important tools that I have at my disposal to get information out there. And well, let's look at the numbers. From May until now, about 60 million social media impressions, about 200 articles, half of them in mainstream media, about 1,000 on top of that of copies of Associated Press and so forth. And of course, the point of having a strong, credible social media presence like Intel Group is keeping the pressure up, just like with a couple of the other ops that we mentioned
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah,
So Intel Group is integral to Lauri Love, Free Lauri Love, and a lot of other campaigns and ops.
yeah. Well, let me ask you this. I mean, I know I'm in the U.S. There's people all over. I have people all over to listen to this. Not a ton of them, but enough maybe where they could spread it around. What could we do, like here and in the UK, and just the average person to help Lori Love's situation? Is there anything we could do?
Well, of course there is. If you're in the UK, you should of course visit the hashtag Free Laurie, and also visit freelaurie.com. And if you're in the UK, you should really, really make a phone call, write a letter, or email your member of parliament, your local MP. There's a long tradition in the UK for doing that. It has helped tremendously up to now, and it continues to be an important tool. When you're international, in Europe or in the US or in Asia for that matter, it helps to keep the story alive and just retweet or create your own tweets, saying what you think about the overreach of the US government and that the fact that they should not be led to, rendition a person when all he did was allegedly walk in open doors. The U.S. should have secured their systems, and not because they were embarrassed. Pick one of the people that allegedly took part in op last resort and throw the book at him.
Yeah, yeah. It just seems like you said, it's vindictive. It's just ridiculous. I can't even fathom the 100 year part of this. I mean, it's really it's like, I mean, I live in the US and I see people do horrible things and get no time or very little time, but they always seem to have a lot of time to hand out to anybody who hacks something that can embarrass them or show the crookedness and corruption within the government. It's always that's the worst thing you could do here.
Well, that cannot be anything else but petty vindictiveness.
Yeah, that you said it. That's what it is.